In a world that so often overlooks its true heroes, today we take a moment to honor one who never overlooked us, Bill Gaither. His departure from the stage was more than just the end of a musical career, it was the quiet close of a significant chapter in gospel music. It left many feeling unsettled and sorrowful. Bill had long been a steady and comforting voice, one that connected generations, faith, joy, and sorrow through his music, live performances, and unwavering presence. His sudden farewell shook a community that had always assumed he'd be there. Even though he stepped back, the music carries on, laced with the spirit he left behind. I am truly thankful for everything he gave. When the announcement came, it was brief and almost too calm for what it meant. In just a few lines, the reality was confirmed: Bill Gaither was stepping away. There was no grand farewell or lengthy reasoning, but the emotional impact was powerful. His quiet exit spoke volumes in a noisy world where emotions are often buried. It reminded everyone how vital he had been, not just as a performer, but as a beacon of hope and steadiness. The reactions were deeply emotional. Fellow artists shared heartfelt memories, not only of his words but of how he lived his values. Fans recounted personal stories of comfort found in his songs during their hardest moments. What became clear was that Bill Gaither had given the world far more than music. He had created lasting memories, emotional healing, and deep spiritual connections that would live far beyond his melodies. As people searched for reasons behind his sudden decision, it became clear that sometimes answers aren't necessary. Maybe Bill chose this path for his health, for his family, or simply for a well-deserved rest after years of dedication. Maybe it was all of that. But what truly mattered was the understanding that even the strongest among us must respond when life calls for a change. Looking back on his journey, it's impossible not to be in awe. From humble beginnings to becoming an icon of gospel music, Bill Gaither navigated fame with humility and grace. Awards and attention were never his goal. He sought to uplift, to inspire, and to bring people together through music. His songs became part of everyday life, woven into church services, weddings, funerals, and moments of private reflection. Yet, beneath his strong and public image was a man with his own struggles. Bill surely felt the weight of expectations and the quiet fatigue that comes from always being a source of strength. His choice to step back wasn't weakness, it was courage. It takes true strength to say goodbye when the world isn't ready to let go. Afterward, he shared a short but heartfelt message. He reminded everyone that gospel music had never been about one man. It would continue with those willing to carry the tune. His parting words weren't just a goodbye, they were a blessing to those who would continue in his footsteps. As always, he encouraged faith, hope, and most of all, love. Though Bill Gaither is no longer on center stage, gospel music is still thriving, thanks in large part to the legacy he built. His voice echoes through new artists, timeless hymns, and countless lives changed by his message of beauty and truth. His absence is painful, but it fills us with gratitude. For even a little while, the world was blessed with someone truly special. Bill Gaither's story reminds us that greatness isn't about standing apart, but about leaving a mark no one can erase. His influence will live not only on recordings but in the hearts of everyone who found comfort in his voice. His music endures because he inspired so many others to sing. In the end, this isn't just a story of loss, it's a celebration of a life lived with purpose, integrity, and faith. True legends leave the world better than they found it, not by seeking attention, but by giving love in everything they do. Even after Bill Gaither walked off stage, the story continues through every joyful song, every soul touched by faith, and every heart lifted by hope. He will never truly be gone. His presence was the calm that anchored the gospel world for decades, a unifying force through faith and music. His songs didn't just entertain, they healed, they inspired, and they brought people together. And in that way, Bill Gaither remains at the heart of the community he helped build. He had seemed unstoppable, even as new voices emerged each year. His energy filled church services, gospel events, and festivals. People felt certain he would always be there, smiling, present, and generously sharing his gift. With Bill's spirit, life moved with an easy, joyful rhythm, and no one imagined a time without his involvement. This sense of continuity grew so strong, it quietly became a belief that nothing would ever change. Then came the shock, a sudden announcement that felt like a thunderstorm breaking a clear sky. Bill Gaither's official team issued a brief but powerful statement that he would be stepping away from all public appearances, concerts, and engagements. No further explanation followed. Though the words were few, their impact was profound. Fans read the statement again and again, hoping they had misunderstood, but it was true. The gospel community was left stunned, struggling to grasp the sudden shift. In a world quick to forget its heroes, this moment reminded everyone of one who had never forgotten them, Bill Gaither. His departure wasn't just about an artist stepping back, it signaled the end of an era and a subtle transformation in gospel music that left many feeling uncertain and sorrowful. For years, Bill had been a reassuring presence, a warm, familiar voice. Through his music, performances, and unwavering support, he had bridged generations, faith, joy, and sorrow. His sudden absence shook a community that had never imagined gospel music without him at its heart. Even though the curtain has closed, the music carries on. Every note, every touched heart, every moment of hope Bill Gaither shared continues to echo with his essence. Many felt deep gratitude. The announcement itself was delivered simply, almost too simply for what it meant. A few lines confirmed what no one wanted to believe: Bill was stepping away, and he did so quietly, without grand explanations. Though unspoken, the weight of his decision hit hard. His absence was immediately felt, not just by fans, but by fellow artists and friends. In a world where noise often masks emotion, the silence surrounding Bill's exit said everything. It reminded everyone just how deeply his presence mattered, not only as a performer, but as a symbol of hope and strength. The reaction was swift and heartfelt. Fellow musicians who had shared the stage with him spoke with emotion, not just about his musical legacy, but about the life lessons he lived by. Fans shared stories of how his songs had comforted them through grief, lifted them through struggle, and guided them in faith. One thing became clear: Bill Gaither gave the world far more than music. He offered lasting memories, healing moments, and spiritual connections that ran deeper than any song. As people searched for reasons behind his sudden exit, it became clear that some things don't need explanations. Maybe Bill made this choice for his family, his health, or his own peace after decades of giving to others. Maybe it was all of these. But what mattered more than why was the message this moment carried, that even the strongest among us must recognize when it's time to rest, to change, to let go. Looking back at his extraordinary journey, it's hard not to admire what Bill built. From modest beginnings to becoming a global figure in gospel music, he carried his success with humility and grace. Fame was never his aim. Through stirring melodies, he sought to lift spirits, strengthen faith, and unite people. His music became a fixture at church services, weddings, funerals, and quiet moments of prayer, woven into the lives of countless people. Behind the scenes, he too bore burdens. Like anyone, Bill likely felt the pressure of expectations and the exhaustion of always being a source of strength. Choosing to step away was not weakness, but courage. It takes immense strength to say goodbye, especially when the world isn't ready to let you go. After the news, a heartfelt farewell was released. Bill reminded everyone that gospel music had never been about one person. The songs would go on, carried by those willing to keep the melody alive. His final message was more than a goodbye, it was a blessing, a passing of the torch, and a call to continue believing, hoping, and, above all, loving. Today, the gospel world is different without Bill Gaither at the forefront, but not diminished. His legacy lives on in the rising voices he inspired, in the timeless hymns that still resound, and in the countless lives touched by his message of truth and beauty. Though his absence is painful, it brings with it deep gratitude. For however long he walked among us, we were truly fortunate. His story is a powerful reminder that greatness is not about being singular, it's about making an impact that lasts. Bill Gaither's music, spirit, and lessons will live not only on recordings, but in the hearts of all who ever found comfort in his voice. His legacy endures through the many voices he inspired. And in the end, even when he steps away, the song goes on. This story goes beyond shock or sorrow. It's a tribute to a life beautifully lived and a character shaped by unwavering integrity, generosity, and faith. It reminds us that true legends are those who quietly make the world better, not by seeking fame, but by giving of themselves in every word, song, and gesture of love. Even after Bill Gaither stepped away from the spotlight, his presence remained. His music, his message, and the countless lives touched by his faith and hope continue to echo his legacy. In that sense, he is never truly gone. Before the sudden shift, there was a sense of calm that many had come to depend on within the gospel community. For decades, Bill Gaither was a steadfast figure, a unifier through faith and song. His music spoke of healing, hope, and togetherness, and more than just melodies, it was his presence that anchored the group. He seemed unshakable. Year after year, even as new talents emerged, his spirit filled churches, festivals, and gospel gatherings. It felt like he would always be there, smiling, sharing his gifts, and setting the rhythm for a community that found comfort in his presence. His involvement became such a steady part of life that it quietly became a belief, and nothing would ever change. Then came the news, sudden, like a storm on a clear day. Bill Gaither's team released a brief but powerful statement announcing he would be stepping away from all public appearances, concerts, and events. No further details were shared. The message, though short, hit with incredible weight. Fans stared in disbelief, rereading the words, hoping they'd misunderstood. But it was true.